Episode 157. Yo, Xiaobi, you're up. Wang Jiexi called out a name. Yes, the person acknowledged. Liu Xiaobi, a name that sounded rather odd. He was known throughout the alliance for his blistering hand speed. Even among pro players, hand speed varies widely. Liu Xiaobi's raw hand speed was number 1 in Team Tianyi Herb, but when it comes to operational speed, he falls just short of Captain Wang Jiexi. Of course, pro players know that raw hand speed is just for show. Operational speed is what truly matters in a real fight. From that perspective, Liu Xiaobi still has room to grow. His hand speed hasn't been fully tapped into yet. Liu Xiaobi's class was a Blade Master. Upon hearing his captain's order, he immediately stepped his character forward. His character was named Dao Dao Ba Dao, a level 27 Swordmaster. Sorcery. The weapon is a level 25F purple. Tier weapon, the Light Shadow Sword. Physical attack 233, magic attack 253. Adds 11 points to strength. Has a 2% chance to stun the target on a successful hit.
Hey, hold on.
Ye Xiu spoke up suddenly, and everyone was taken aback.
So you're planning on a team arena match?
Wang Jiexi actually answered. Lord Grimm was standing directly opposite him, right in front of his blazing flames. Just moments ago, right before his eyes, Liang Fang's blood wind had been slain by Lord Grimm.
Too much trouble.
Then what do you suggest?
Let's just do a team match.
A wave of shock rippled through the crowd. This guy actually wants to take on all 10 of them in a team match. But the problem is, he's just one man.
But these 10 people on this side are no ordinary 10.
This is Team Tianyi Herb, last year's champions and this year's top contenders. They have a real shot at becoming the second team to win back titles, following in the footsteps of Team Excellent Era, to become the second team in history to win back championships. When had they ever been looked down on like this? Everyone was instantly furious. Liu Xiaobi, whose character was already on the move, shouted loudly.
Captain, let me go take him out.
What's going on? Liang Fang was now respawning and running over, completely unaware of what had just been said.
That guy actually said he wants to take on our whole team by himself, just relying on one teammate by his side.
Liang Fang was taken aback. He wanted to say something, but held his tongue. Liang Fang had failed. He was defeated, frustrated, and humiliated. Yet, he couldn't muster a single shred of resentment. His opponent's experience, awareness, skill, and execution were all superior to his own, compounded by the early game advantage of a classless character's vast skill arsenal. To be honest, Liang Fang had never actually seen an unspecialized character before. The unspecialized class was already a legend when Glory first began. He'd only ever heard the old-timers talk about how formidable the unspecialized class was in the early days. Today, he saw it for himself. This is clearly even more insane than what the old team members described. The unspecialized's attacks were simply impossible to predict. Even though they were just low-level skills, yet it encompasses all 24 classes. Who knows what his next move will be? That's the advantage. Even at higher levels, it persists. What the unspecialized class lacks is just the explosive power of high-level skills. At this moment, Liang Fang very much wanted to say, in a one-on-one fight, I'm afraid none of us would be a match for him. Even if the captain took the field personally, Liang Fang wouldn't dare to be too confident. As a pro player, he had his own clear judgment. He wasn't one of those die-hard fans. They only know how to blindly worship their idol's strength. But saying that right now would just be boosting the enemy's morale while deflating our own. Besides, even if this guy is strong, he actually said he wants to take on our entire team solo. Even Liang Fang, who knew how fearsome the opponent was, found this too much to believe.
Captain, I'm going in.
After another shout, Liu Xiaobi took a deep breath and struck. The Blade Master, Dao Dao, drew his sword and unleashed a triple slash, instantly closing the distance to Lord Grimm. He opened with an uppercut. In that instant, Lord Grimm had drawn his sword too. He used a block and retreated. Another draw sword slash. The thought flashed through Liu Xiaobi's mind. The swordsman will definitely follow up with a wide-range draw sword slash. Gotta be quick. Liu Xiaobi was a master of hand speed. His favorite way to fight was, of course, to duke it out in a contest of pure mechanics and reflexes. The thought flashed through his mind. His fingers flashed, drawing the blade, sheathing it, and striking again in one fluid motion. The flash of his draw sword lit up the air in an instant. The reply was a crisp, rhythmic burst of machine gun fire. The brilliant flash of Dao Dao Badu's draw sword slash vanished in an instant. Dao Dao Badu was riddled with bloody holes, his body trembling violently from the hail of bullets. If this weren't a game, he'd have been riddled with holes by now. The opponent was using the Spitfire skill, Gatling gun. At this moment, Liu Xiaobi, just like Liang Fang, finally understood what an unspecialized character truly was. He finally understood what unpredictable attacks meant. And he still thought he could outspeed his opponent, who's faster on the draw, but he didn't use draw sword slash at all. He backed off by firing his Gatling gun. Your wave slash's range is long, but is it longer than a machine gun's? The relentless barrage of bullets left Liu Xiaobi utterly helpless. The Gatling gun had just ceased when a flash of light erupted. The opponent's rising dragon slash came at him in that very instant. True to his reputation as a hand speed master, Liu Xiaobi had already executed a block in that split second. Dao Dao drew his blade, planting his sword upright with a sharp clang to block the draw cut. He was being forcibly knocked back. Then came 3 consecutive cannon blasts. The opponent's sword transformed into a gun once more. The Spitfire skill, anti-tank missile. Liu Xiaobi tried to dodge, yet he still took a hit. These 3 shells weren't fired in a straight line. The opponent used the skill's 3-point barrage maneuver. The 3 shells formed a triangle, blanketing an area. No matter how Dao 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 moved, he was bound to get hit by at least one of those shells. What followed was essentially a showcase of low-level skills. There was no warning, no way to predict it. Like Lang Fang, Liu Xiaobi had only heard of it from the mouths of his seniors, the unspecialized class that once ran rampant. This time, his first experience with the unspecialized class ended in defeat. In the end, Liu Xiaobi was defeated without a shred of doubt, and just like Liang Fang, he was utterly crushed, defeated without a shred of opportunity. This was something that should never happen to a pro player. Even when facing a god-tier opponent, like your own team captain, it shouldn't be a complete shootout where you see no chance of victory at all. The chance is always there. It's just a matter of whether you can seize it. But in his duel with Lord Grimm, Liu Xiaobi, like Liang Fang, ultimately realized there was only one way to avoid defeat. That is to not step up and challenge him. In this arena battle, 2 challengers have already fallen. They were defeated utterly, and they fell in spectacular fashion. Their defeats had shattered the confidence of those who followed. Vice Captain Deng Fusheng stole a glance at his captain beside him. Wang Jiaxi's expression remained unchanged. He seemed completely unfazed. But what about the team members? Deng Fusheng swept his gaze around the room. Tension was etched on every team member's face. Others were stealing glances at the captain. Deng Fusheng knew they were afraid of being called out by the captain. None of the players felt confident they could take on Lord Grimm one-on-one. As for Lord Grimm, he simply sat down on the ground, eating some food and drinking a beverage. He was restoring his health and mana. Wang Jiexi didn't intervene, and none of his teammates stepped forward. They weren't here to silence anyone permanently. They didn't mind letting Lord Grimm recover a bit. If they truly won by just draining their opponent's mana, that victory would be utterly meaningless for Team Tiny Herb. But what comes next? Wang Jiaxi hesitated for a moment. It was painfully obvious he was no match in a one-on-one. Not just his teammates, but even he himself. Even Wang Jiaxi himself, taking the field personally, had no certainty of victory.